When it comes to completing your UCAS application, the personal statement is one of the most important parts to consider. While your grades show your academic ability and admissions tests test your knowledge and capabilities, your personal statement is all about you. Tutors want to see the person behind the application understand why you're a suitable candidate for your chosen course. Although each university will have its own unique way of shortlisting applicants, your personal statement is your opportunity to demonstrate your strengths and let your personality shine through. This guide is all about the process of writing your personal statement, so let's get into it. Personal statements have been an essential part of the UK university application process since 1993, when it was introduced by the Universities and Colleges Admissions Service, or UCAS. Up until 2025, the personal statement took the form of a single, free-form written document that candidates could structure however they pleased. However, this has now changed into something far more unique. The new format now sees applicants answering 3 set questions relating to different aspects of their experiences. These questions are: why do you want to study this course or subject? How have your qualifications and studies helped you to prepare for this course or subject? What have you done to prepare outside of education, and why are these experiences useful? Each question has a minimum character count of 350 with an overall character limit of 4,000 across the whole personal statement. The personal statement is submitted via your UCAS account, where you will have text boxes that your responses can be put into. It needs to be submitted at the same time as the rest of your application, which means that it needs to be completed by the deadline of October 15th for Oxbridge, medicine and dentistry applicants, or late January for everyone else. Generally, this format is fairly simple and offers a basic framework for how you should approach your personal statement. However, there's more depth to it than what you may initially think. So let's now learn about how you can approach the writing of your personal statement. Your personal statement isn't a long monologue of your life so far, nor is it a gigantic list of all your achievements. Think of yourself as a storyteller, with each question being a new chapter. These questions are there to help you work from the start and explain how you developed an interest in your chosen subject. Each question builds on the last, so let's see how you can effectively answer them. Before you sit down to write your UCAS personal statement, the first thing that we'd recommend is that you research the courses that you want to apply for. This is going to help you prepare your statement, as courses vary from university to university, and your content really should reflect that. Then comes the planning phase. Even though the personal statement structure is now far more rigid than it's ever been in the past, it's still vital that you consider your discussion points and structure them in an effective and compelling order. Let's go through question by question to try and understand how you should approach each. The first question is designed to let you introduce yourself and explain your motivations for studying your chosen course. In essence, this question acts as the introduction that would have been included in a traditional personal statement. While it may seem to you that you need to provide a long backstory as to why you're interested in the subject, it's not necessary to go into too much detail. Aim to condense the information into 1 or 2 impactful sentences that summarise just how you got to where you are. This question doesn't just come down to how you developed your interest. You also need to explain what it is that interests you about your subject and what you plan to do with your education in the future. Again, these need to be heavily condensed, as you may have enough to say here to fill the whole 4,000 character limit. Key points to bring up could be to include a key moment in your life that inspired you, details about an area of the subject that particularly interests you, things that you've read or seen that impacted you, and potential ideas for your future plans once you graduate. The most important thing to remember is that this isn't the place to write down why you should be admitted to the course. The next 2 questions are all about your qualifications and relevant experiences. So this is the part of your personal statement where you want to explain why you want to study the course. For question 2, you need to discuss the practical reasons as to why you'd be a valuable student at your chosen university. This second part is specifically about your official qualifications, including your grades and any other formal activities you've completed that provide evidence for your skill set. For most students, this question is mostly going to relate to their A-level performance or equivalent. As your primary qualification, these grades are going to play a key part in getting your place at your chosen university. So spending some time in your personal statement to explain how you engage with your studies is super important. Of course, this doesn't just mean listing off all your achieved grades. Your education history is already included in your UCAS application. But instead, try to explain how you work and what skills you've learned that could be implemented in your university studies. Ideally, these skills would be transferable to your university studies in both an academic and practical sense. Making that link in your writing can help to prove your understanding of your chosen field. It's recommended that you discuss your most recent qualification, so avoid going further back in your education to, say, your GCSEs. This all relates to your actual studies, but you may also wish to discuss other academic achievements outside of your grades, such as positions you've held at school academic awards, or participation in competitions. Just remember to keep everything relevant to the subject that you're applying for. A good performance in an art competition probably isn't going to be much use to you if you're applying to study computer science, unless you can identify a good, compelling link between the two. The last question is usually the most broad, as it can cover pretty much anything else that may be relevant to your chosen degree. This may be the question that you want to dedicate the most characters to, as long as you have impactful and relevant supercurriculars or extracurriculars to discuss. Some examples of good talking points include things like work experience, volunteering opportunities, hobbies, or clubs outside of school and post-education activities. If there's been a gap between the end of your school and your application, you may have a lot to discuss there. So that's why planning becomes so important. The best way is to decide what to discuss is to first consider what is most directly relevant to your subject, but also what has the most compelling connections in more subtle ways. The ability to effectively link two seemingly unrelated topics can help you stand out, but it's a risky move that does really need to be done correctly. While there are some talking points that have obvious links, like hospital work placements for a medicine application, you'll need to explain how these more general experiences are transferable to your subject and how the skills you learn will benefit you in your studies. Your personal statement is a glimpse into your passion, how keen you are to learn, and what you already know about your chosen subject. Hopefully, through all of these questions, you'll have ample opportunity to explain how you've been preparing for this application and why you're prepared to enter the university. Beyond this, writing in a reflective manner is a great way to express your points and make your personal statement stand out. Reflective writing refers to discussing more than just the base level elements of your experience, but also the ways in which they taught you and helped you grow as a person. This shows admissions tutors that you not only have learned a relevant skill, but you're also aware of why it was important and how it can be translated into other areas. Here are a few more do's and don'ts to think about when writing your personal statement. This is an obvious and slightly cliched point, but you need to show your genuine interest or passion about your subject, although it may be better to avoid that word. Your statement is your chance to talk about you, your interests, and your skills. It's no good saying you're passionate if you can't prove and show that you are. You need to write in a natural style to show off your personality, making sure that it's genuine, relevant, and specific. Be sure to use appropriate language for an academic document, so reread your personal statement multiple times and check that the content is academic, engaging, and clear. That includes spelling as well, so using an automatic spell checker can help you do this as you work to reduce the amount of time that you spend checking this afterwards. Finally, it's all well and good saying that you love a subject, but this is going to fall flat if you can't back it up. Talk about your school subjects and results, any wide reading and relevant work experience. Perhaps you attended a lecture on your subject. That would be an example of really good evidence. Now for the don'ts. Avoid all of these if you want your personal statement to read well. As you don't have to write an introduction anymore, you shouldn't waste time thinking of a catchy opening, especially for the first question. The best personal statements get to the point quickly, so avoid starting with phrases like "from a young age," "I'm applying for this course because," "throughout my life I've always enjoyed." Just go straight into why you're interested in your course subject. It's also super important that you don't overcomplicate with filler content or try to be clever or funny with gags in your writing. All of this is just going to waste your available characters and make you stand out in a bad way. We've already mentioned this, but don't go overboard with your extracurricular activities in question 3. Focus on the best ones and provide interesting details about them. Never mention a university by name in your writing. Your personal statement gets sent out to all of your university choices, so you don't want to alienate the others by focusing on one in particular. You need as many offers as you can get to provide an insurance if you don't get into your primary option. Lastly, there are some very serious ones that could be really obvious, but it's worth saying anyway. Lying in your personal statement will get you into trouble if you're asked to provide more evidence of your personal statement. It's not worth the risk, so just stick to the facts. Plagiarizing content is not only going to lessen the impact of your personal statement, but you'll also likely be caught out due to UCAS's advanced plagiarism detectors. They have every personal statement that's ever been submitted to them on record, so they're going to know if you've copied content from someone else's work, and your application is just going to get thrown out. Lastly, there's something that's becoming more of a problem in recent years is AI-generated content. Now, UCAS doesn't outright ban the use of AI within your statement, but it is clear that you cannot submit text that has been primarily generated by AI. There are ways that AI could be used in your work, but we'll cover that in a separate video. So hopefully this video should have offered you a broad overview of what you need to know about writing a personal statement. There is of course going to be different techniques and tips required for specific subject areas, but everything discussed here should be relevant to any UK university applicant. So if you found this helpful, we've got loads more guides available both here on our channel and at uniadmissions.co.uk. You'll find our personal statement hub links below, where you can find more guides and our suite of example personal statements, all written by Oxford and Cambridge students, and you can find out how many offers they actually got using them. You can also find our free ebook, The Big Book of Oxbridge Applications, if you're looking to apply to either of those universities. This book features over 500 pages and offers advice and essential information for every step of the admissions process, from college selection to interviews. You can find the download link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we wish you the best of luck with your personal statement and the rest of your application.